It was the first week of November 2025. The air above the United States carried that familiar early winter hush, the quiet before the season of sales, sparkle, and sentiment. Shop windows across Chicago and Seattle had begun to glow with garlands. But something in the light felt different this year, softer, dimmer, more cautious. For months, analysts had been whispering what now everyone seemed to feel. The American consumer, the heartbeat of the world's largest economy, was slowing down, in kitchens, in checkout lines, and in late-night budgeting spreadsheets. The mood was the same. People were planning, not splurging. Inflation wasn't roaring like it did in 2022, but its echo still haunted grocery aisles and electric bills. The cost of living had stabilized, but at a higher plateau. Gas prices had fallen slightly, rents had cooled. Yet nobody felt richer. A young mother in Dallas scrolled through Amazon's Black Friday preview. While her toddler napped beside her, she added a toy kitchen set to her cart, hesitated, then saved it for later. "It's not that we don't want to spend," she said softly. "It's that we don't trust the year yet." Her words carried the mood of a nation across corporate boardrooms. CEOs were watching the same story unfold in numbers. Credit card delinquencies ticked up. Household savings dipped. Value became the retail buzzword of the year. At Macy's, executives debated whether to promise magic or affordability in their holiday ads. They chose both, a glittering campaign with the line, "Make it special, make it smart." But behind the slogan lay a quiet truth. The average shopper was expected to spend several percent less this season. The sentiment was not collapse, but caution. Economists called it a soft landing. For families juggling debt and desire, it felt more like skating across thin ice. And Wall Street traders read consumer sentiment surveys like fortune cookies. The University of Michigan's confidence index had flattened, not despair, but fatigue. Luxury retail stocks dipped while discount chains surged. Walmart hit a year high as Americans traded premium for practical. "It's not a recession," a Bloomberg anchor said. "It's reflection." Even Silicon Valley noticed the mood shift. Tech giants began catering to the responsible spender. Apple offered a budget-friendly iPhone. Amazon saw searches for Christmas gifts under $25 jump nearly 40%. TikTok filled with frugal trends, homemade decorations, DIY gifts, budget recipes. What began as restraint evolved into creativity. Psychologists called it the psychology of the pause. The pandemic had rewired America's sense of security. Inflation had deepened it. Political gridlock and the government shutdown sealed it. People weren't just buying less. They were thinking more about what buying meant. A retired teacher in Portland put it simply, "It's not fear anymore. It's maturity." "We've learned to stop expecting the next quarter to save us." Surveys echoed her words. Consumers weren't pessimistic, they were pragmatic. Confidence cooled, but self-control quietly strengthened. Retailers took note. From Target to Costco, the message was empathy, honest pricing, smaller packaging, clear supply chains. Even luxury brands adapted. Tiffany's promoted forever over flash. Nordstrom hosted holiday styling on a budget. Retail had shifted from spectacle to solidarity. Still, some instincts lingered. On Black Friday morning, people lined up outside stores. But this year, there was no frenzy, no chaos. Shoppers came with lists, not impulses. "It's quieter." An NBC reporter said, "People seemed to know exactly what they came for." Precision replaced excess. Growth hadn't vanished. It had matured beneath the charts and data. There was still a heartbeat. In Detroit, volunteers wrapped gifts for the children of laid-off auto workers. In Miami, restaurants offered pay-what-you-can meals. Even the coldest economic models couldn't measure that. The resilience that kept joy alive in lean times. An economist summed it up best: "We're not witnessing decline. We're witnessing recalibration, a nation remembering the difference between celebration and consumption." By Christmas Eve, the snow had settled over much of the country. The stock market steadied. Inflation stayed in check. Wages began to edge upward. Families gathered, not surrounded by piles of boxes, but by presents. They streamed old movies, shared small gifts, and talked about plans rather than prices. The tepid season had become in its own quiet way, a healing one, as January approached. Analysts drafted new forecasts. Would spending rebound? Would confidence return once politics settled? No one knew. But in that calm between uncertainty and hope, America seemed content to pause, not out of fear, out of reflection, because sometimes the most powerful growth doesn't happen in sales charts. It happens in silence. When a country learns to live within its means and still find meaning, the holiday of 2025 would be remembered not for record profits, but for balance. For families who made memories without debt, for brands that rediscovered empathy, for a nation realizing resilience doesn't roar, it breathes. The tepid holiday wasn't the end of optimism. It was its evolution, and as the lights of New Year's Eve blinked across the skyline from New York to Los Angeles, America wasn't roaring, it was breathing, slowly, wisely, together.